What's up, guys? This is Ryan Johnson with MoneyBass.com, back again with this week's episode of How Would You Fish It? And for my new subscribers and people that are visiting the channel for the first time, if you are not familiar with this, each week I will pull up a video clip and just show you guys some type of structure, cover, or something, in the most cases using electronics, so that we can kind of get some I guess kind of a tutorial on what you're seeing on the screen as far as electronics go, and also decipher how you would fish that, what lures you would use based on the water temps, water depth, and just whatever information that you're seeing on the screen. Sometimes you may be able to see the watercolor and things like that also. So as you guys come in, please make sure you support the channel by hitting the like button. I would really appreciate that, guys. It really does help the channel out. And let's see, what is the other thing? And subscribe. Definitely subscribe, guys, and share these videos. We are working to build a community of anglers that with the same mindset. We are here to help each other out and just get better on the water and just share information. If you guys haven't checked it out, make sure you look into the Patreon also. I do exclusive type videos, more one-on-one type things, as far as it'll just be a smaller group in there. We will be doing live sessions in there also, whenever we get together in there and just kind of toss ideas back and forth. There will also be a Discord section in there where guys can go in, communicate, build relationships, share information as far as different lakes, electronics, whether you have Garmin, Humminbird, Lowrance. Really doesn't matter. We're all there to help each other out. So that is something that we're also looking into, guys. All right. So for today, to just give you a brief idea of how we do this each week, I will pull up the video clip, play that video clip, and you just watch that information that you're seeing on the screen. And then from there, just get active down in the comment section. Just let me know what you're seeing on the screen and what is making you decide to choose the bait that you say that you would use. Are you seeing fish on the screen? Are you seeing a certain type of structure? Is that why you're picking the bait that you would use? And maybe you've seen something like this for real, and you've already done this before and caught fish using it. So just looking forward to hearing what your thoughts are on that. So let me go ahead and pull up the video clip. I'll go ahead and play this, and then we will come back and discuss it. The wind is brutal, guys. Right, but just wanted to show you guys what I'm fishing. You can see this right there on that 360. That is a big brush pile, and I have it on spot lock right now, so you can see it's kind of scanning back and forth. But I positioned the boat in the wind to where it keeps that trolling motor lined up with that brush pile, so you can see it sweeping back and forth. That purple haze again is the persistence mode, guys. But tournament is still going on. It is 2:50. The check-in time is 3:30, so I have 3 fish to the boat, so I need to get back out here, keep on working. But just wanted to give you guys that quick info so you can see what I'm fishing here. And it's basically just a brush pile. I found that using my using the Mega Live, so you can use that on tournament day. I did not pre-fish, but let me get back to work, guys. All right, so that was part 1 of the clip, and let's go ahead and check out part 2. This is pretty much the same structure. It may just be at a different angle, but let's go ahead and take a look at this also. Just wanted to show you all of the activity on the Mega Live. Let's let that persistence mode move out of the way, but let me just scan around a little bit so you can see what I'm fishing. Have about 6 minutes left, guys. That's all I'm doing, scanning back and forth. Look at all of that right there. It looks good. All right, so there you go. So that is the structure that we are taking a look at today. So did you notice the water temp, water clarity, water depth? What did you guys notice? And based on that, how would you fish it? Let's go ahead and get active down in the comment section. Let me know what bait you would use and things like that, guys. And let me see. I will go ahead and pull this up and just kind of talk my way through it real quick of some things that I would take into consideration whenever I'm deciding to how I would fish this particular area. Let me go ahead and pull that back up, and we'll play it again and just go through this real quick. The wind is brutal, guys, but just wanted to show you guys. All right, so let me just go ahead and mute it. So right here, I'm looking at this 360. If you look directly at, say, 12 o'clock, between 12 and 1 o'clock, that dark area on that 360, that lets you know that there is some type of cover, some type of structure right there. And a lot of times that is going to be your high percentage area. When you look at the rest of that 360, it doesn't really look like there is too much of anything else that stands out on there. So that is what you are going to target. So once you have targeted that using the 360, now you want to take your live imaging and point it directly at that area and just kind of sweep back and forth to see if you see any type of movement in there. Once you see that movement using the persistence mode, like I said before, that persistence mode is going to be that purple haze. It allows you to track the fish a little bit better. From there, you can determine where the fish are at in the water column, and based on water clarity and things like that, choose the bait that you need and go from there. So let me go ahead and play this a little bit more so we can keep stepping through that. So still just taking a look at that 360, and now I am going to start sweeping the that mega live back and forth until I get a direct in line with where that main part of the structure is located. And I may have been drifting a little bit, so as you look, you can see that this is only about 30 feet out right now. Um, so as I'm getting closer to it, I think I eventually ran over it, but you generally don't want to run over that structure, and I mean that cover, and you can see that I'm only in 11 feet of water, so it's not really that deep. And this is kind of close to the bank, even though you can't see that in the picture. All right, and there's the fish right there. So basically, at that point, you can see that those fish were in 11 feet of water, and the fish come down to maybe about 4 or 5 feet. Some of them are suspended, but there are fish that are definitely in that cover. So as you're seeing those dots on there, now we know that we have located those fish. So let's go ahead and go over some of the baits that I would use, and let's see what you guys come up with. So what I would say is that water is kind of stained. It's not very muddy, but it's some stained water. And you see that those fish are kind of suspended. But I would say whenever you're fishing that muddy water, the fish are going to be more so in the structure itself because they will kind of relate to something. So what I would say is this is a great situation where you would want to fish something like a frog. Get that right on top of the water and move that around. Nah, I'm just joking, guys. I definitely would not use a frog in a situation like that. Just wanted to toss that out there, have a little bit of fun. But what I would say, guys, for me, if I wanted to use a moving bait, I would use something like a spinner bait in this situation, or maybe something like a flashy swimmer. But as far as a swimmer bait, swim bait, not a swim bait, a spinner bait, what I would use is something that is a darker colored spinner bait, something like this with the bigger Colorado blades on there. So that will give you a lot more thump to it. And just think in more stained water, they're going to be relating to that sense of feel or sense of sound. So those are some things that you want to keep in mind. And that silhouette from the darker bait is something that would draw their attention whenever they aren't able to see the baits that well. So if you're going to throw something moving, what I would go with is a spinner bait. And the other thing to keep in mind is this is somewhat weedless. As long as you fish this slow, you can slow roll this and keep that going through that cover without getting hung up. But if you do, as long as you don't set the hook very hard on it, then you can still pull it back through. Just throw on some type of paddle tail trailer on there, and you should be good to go. So that I would say that is bait number one if I want to throw a moving bait for me. The other thing is, let me just pull this up real quick, is throwing a lighter colored spinner bait. So you still want to keep those big Colorado blades on there, and something like white and chartreuse. Generally, that can show up and work very well in muddy and stained water also. All right, so that is the first thing as far as moving baits go. Now, as far as if you want to get down there in that cover and work something through that, can't really beat the jig, guys. I would go with something black and blue and go for that bigger bite, because if it's a tournament, guys, you do want those big fish. Unless you're trying to get some points together, then maybe you want to downsize, go with a shaky head or something like that. But I would say my number one choice with getting in there is going to be a jig. All right. So the other option, And I wouldn't necessarily say that the jig would be the number one choice. The other thing that I would say would work well is, let me just kind of move this around kind of slow, because this is a 710 extra heavy with 20-pound cigar. I believe I have red label on this. But the other thing that I would do, guys, is whenever I'm fishing cover like that, I like to use a Texas rig. And like I said, whenever the water is stained or muddy like that, I want something that is going to give some sound. I don't know if you can hear that, but I have that glass bead on there, and that is maybe a either a quarter ounce or a 3/16 ounce tungsten on there. And I do fish that pegged. For me, I peg it, but if you can see, I keep it a little above that weight, so it will allow that weight to move around and kind of bang up against that the tungsten to make a little bit of sound in there. And sometimes that's all it takes to make the difference in order to get the fish to come over to that location. All right, let me get that out of the way. But yeah, so that is a 710 extra heavy with 20-pound fluorocarbon on it. I kind of like that extra strength, guys. Got to get those fish out of there sometimes. You never know when that 7-pounder is going to be on the other end of that line. So those are the top three choices that I would use in this situation. What do you guys think? Let's get active down in the comment section and have another good conversation, guys, and just share some information and have some fun with it as always. All right, guys, if you did not already hit the like button on the way in, make sure you hit it on the way out. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Make sure you tune in for the live stream every Tuesday at 8 p.m. If you have any suggestions of some things that you want to go over during the live stream, make sure you put those down in the comment section also. If anybody wants to contact me, you can reach me on my Instagram down here at the bottom of the screen. It is at official money bass for Instagram. All right, guys, appreciate you supporting the channel, and I will see you on the next video.